I had waited 3 years to meet the woman my son said he loved. He always talked about her with a soft smile, the kind that told me she was special. So when he finally said he was bringing her home for dinner, I spent the entire day cooking, cleaning, and rehearsing the warm welcome I wanted to give her. I imagined laughter at the table, polite introductions, and maybe even the quiet relief of seeing my son happy. But nothing prepared me for what would actually happen. The doorbell rang just after sunset. My heart beat faster as I smoothed my dress and opened the door. There he stood, smiling proudly, his arm wrapped around a young woman with gentle eyes and nervous hands. She smiled politely, and for a moment everything felt normal. I invited them in, took their coats, and guided them to the living room. But as she sat down, she brushed her hair behind her ear, and that's when I saw it. A small, faded birthmark just below her hairline. My breath caught in my throat. My hands went cold that I had seen that birthmark before. I had memorized it. I had kissed it. I had cried over it. It belonged to the baby girl who disappeared from my life 20 years ago. In that single second, my mind screamed what my heart was too afraid to accept. The woman sitting in my living room might not just be my son's girlfriend. She might be my missing daughter. 20 years earlier, I had given birth to a beautiful baby girl. She had a tiny birthmark near her temple, shaped like a soft teardrop. I named her Lily. For the first 2 years of her life, she was my entire world. Then one afternoon, while visiting relatives, she vanished. We searched everywhere. We called the police. We posted flyers. We cried ourselves to sleep for months. But she was never found. Life moved on, but my heart never did. Years passed, and eventually I had another child, my son, Daniel. I loved him deeply, but there was always a quiet emptiness in our home. A missing laugh. A missing little voice. A missing piece of my heart. I kept Lily's photo in my bedroom drawer, touching it whenever the ache became too heavy. Now, 2 decades later, I was sitting across from a young woman who carried the same birthmark. Her voice was kind. Her laughter was gentle. And somehow, her smile felt painfully familiar. I tried to stay calm, asking simple questions, listening to her story. She said her name was Emma. She said she grew up in foster care. She said she didn't know anything about her biological family. Every word felt like a quiet thunder inside my chest. My hands trembled under the table. My eyes kept drifting to that small mark near her hairline. I was afraid to speak. Afraid to be wrong. Afraid to be right. Dinner felt endless. My son talked happily, unaware of the storm inside me. Emma smiled politely, thanking me for the food. I watched her hands as she ate, noticing how she held her fork, the way she tilted her head when she listened. Small things. Familiar things. After dinner, Daniel stepped outside to take a call. Emma and I were alone in the kitchen. The silence felt heavy. I took a deep breath and finally spoke. "Can I ask you something personal?" I said softly. She nodded. "Do you know anything about your birth family?" Her smile faded slightly. "Not much," she said. "I was told I was adopted after being found very young. No records. No details." My heart pounded. I swallowed. "Do you remember anything from when you were little?" She shook her head gently. "Just flashes. Nothing clear." I hesitated, then reached for the drawer where I kept Lily's photo. My fingers trembled as I handed it to her. "This was my daughter," I whispered. "She disappeared 20 years ago." Emma looked at the photo. Her eyes widened. She stared at it longer than expected. Her hand rose slowly to her temple, touching the same small birthmark. That mark, I said quietly. You have it too. Her breath caught. Her lips parted. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she whispered, I always wondered why this looked so different. The front door opened. Daniel walked in, smiling, until he saw our faces. What's wrong? He asked. I looked at my son, my voice trembling. Daniel, she might be your sister. The room went silent. Emma stared at Daniel. Daniel stared at me. Confusion turned into shock. Shock turned into fear. No one spoke for several seconds that felt like hours. Finally, Daniel laughed nervously. That's not funny, he said. But my eyes were filled with tears, not jokes. We decided to take a DNA test. The waiting was unbearable. Every phone call made my heart race. Every night, I barely slept. Emma stayed with us, quiet and thoughtful, as if she too was afraid of what the truth might be. 2 weeks later, the results arrived. She was my daughter. My missing baby girl. The room filled with sobs, disbelief, and broken laughter. Emma, Lily, cried in my arms, whispering, I always felt like something was missing. Daniel sat beside us, his face pale, trying to process the impossible truth. The woman he loved was the sister he never knew. Their relationship ended gently, painfully, but respectfully. What replaced it was something deeper, family. Slowly, we learned to be together again. We shared stories, photos, and memories that had waited 20 years to be told. Sometimes I still look at that small birthmark and feel my heart ache. But now it's an ache filled with gratitude. Because against all odds, my missing daughter came home, not through a search, not through a miracle, but through love that unknowingly brought her back to where she always belonged.